Hello good people. So this is an update on my first video involving my growing rack. So I've made some advancements since then. I'd like to share them with you. So you'll see here that I've got 4 different containers. And so these are seed trays where you can sprout seeds, which I'm doing, or you can grow plants individually. And so you'll notice here that I've got 4 different labels on each one. I'll go over that in my next video. I'll be going over the process on how you can set this up in your own home step by step and what to expect. So let's go. Okay, so in this first photo, what I'm showing you here is how many trays you can fit on a rack. So as you can see, there's 4 trays on that one row, and there are 6 shelves on this rack. So you can have a total of 24 trays per rack, which provides a lot of produce and seedlings for yourself and your family. Also, I'm showing you here the seed trays that I have. So I've started off with 4 because I have 4 heating pads. And essentially what I've done is I've planted them out, and I've used a spare seed tray as a cover where I've created basically a clamshell that will keep the light out so the seeds can germinate better. And what this does is it emulates nature. So in nature, outside, when you put the seed in the ground, there's no light. And so here we've put the other tray over the top so it blocks out the light to help the seeds grow. Also, it helps create an environment that's more moist versus if you had the top off, where it would dry out a lot quicker. Also, each one of these trays that I have is sitting on a heating pad, which helps in the germination process greatly. Here in Grayson, Georgia, is 20 degrees outside, and it's still fairly cold inside of my garage. But even with that, these seeds won't have any trouble germinating. Next, I'll go through step by step on how I set these trays up so you can do the same in your home. All right, so starting off, you're going to want to get yourself a nice work space. So for me, I'm just using a cheap plastic table that you get from Walmart. They're fairly stable. And so you just take the tray one at a time in my case, because my table is not that big. And you want to fill it up about 2/3 of the way high. Make sure that you spread the dirt out evenly and don't press it down or pack it down, because if you do, you will inhibit the roots from the seedlings from growing. All right, from there, you just evenly sprinkle in your seeds. In this case, I'm using a lettuce mix. You might also notice that on my 4 trays here, that each one of them, the dirt looks a bit different. So I'll be going over that in my next video. Essentially what I've done is I've created a bit of an experiment where I'm comparing the germination rates between 4 different price levels of dirt that are easily and readily available to you. So we'll be covering that next time. So next, you want to gently rake the seeds into the soil in each tray. Take care not to push down too much. If you do, you will make it more difficult for the seeds to germinate. You want to just barely have them underneath the soil, and you'll actually have a lot of them on top of the soil. Don't worry about that, it won't cause any problems. And lastly, you want to water in each one of the trays. I'm using a watering can, and so the reason why I'm using that is that it disperses the water out. You don't want it to be like coming from a cup where it's going to be pouring in one spot. So you want the water to be spread out and watered evenly across all your seeds. So there we have it, 4 filled trays of soil planted with a spring lettuce mix. Again, I'll be going over the different soil comparisons in the next video. These are the heating pads that I used, and simply you'll just plug them in, lay them on the rack, and then you just place the seed trays on top of them, and then you would just take a non-used seed tray and make a clamshell out of it for the reasons that I outlined before. Okay, so that's it for this video. Again, this shows what you can do with a rack so long as you have sufficient light. You don't need any automation for this whatsoever. All right, and in the next video, we're going to be going over the little experiment that I did comparing the different soil types that you can use. And I have all price points. We want to see is there an advantage of using one over the other, considering price. And with that, good people, I'll see you next time. Get out there and grow.